Okay. Okay. Hello Sadguri. Hello Akshay. Hello everyone. Okay, what about others? Why very less people? I told to all of you to attend the class without fail, compulsory. Please kindly don't do this. Okay, okay. Good morning all. Okay, let's not waste the time. Others they may join later. Okay. As I already informed, the secondary metabolites is a very important topic, friends. It is extremely important for the part B also, friends, and it is important for equally important for the part C also, as I already told you. Okay, so good morning, good morning. See, if you look into this particular 2022 February question paper, we got 6 marks from this particular subunit. That is in the part B section also we got the question. At the same time we get the question in the part C also. Okay, now listen to me before starting this point, starting this concept. Listen to me, friends. There is one advantage and one disadvantage with this particular subunit or this particular concept. The advantage is that the question that you get in the exam is, good morning, the question that you will get in the exam is very easy, and another point, the question that you will get in the exam is the direct. Very easy question, straightforward question and direct question. And what is the disadvantage with this particular question? Lot of information to be remembered. That's the only disadvantage. So you should not think it as a disadvantage, you should think as an asset. Okay, so if you remember the good amount of the concept, friends, just keep it in your mind. 6 marks are in your hand. Very simple point. Okay, now let's start. Secondary metabolites. So friends, how can we define the word secondary metabolites? So give me 15 minutes of time. I will explain everything elaboratively. Then later I'll give the time to ask all your doubts. And I'm requesting all of you, whatever the information present on every single slide, you have to remember. Very common it is. Because we can't predict from where we can expect the question, but it is very sure and it is compulsory that we are going to get the question. So listen that point. Secondary metabolites. What do you have to remember about this particular secondary metabolites? See, I can define in a simple line. Secondary metabolites are, please listen to me for 15 minutes continuously. Secondary metabolites are said to be defensive substances. Suppose example, we human being, what kind of defense substance, defense mechanism we are having? Good morning, we are having immune system. So whenever we exposed to any pathogenic attack, immediately our immune system get activated and our immune system is going to protect us. But tell me, friends, do you think what we can say, plants having any kind of a well developed immune system? Not at all, right? Plants are having only secondary metabolites. That secondary metabolites only, friends, can behave like a immune defense mechanism. Now let me tell you one interesting statement. Most of the students will think that every single secondary metabolite is required for the growth and development of the plant body, which is absolutely wrong statement. Without a secondary metabolite, everyone listen to me, without secondary metabolites, there will be, I mean to say, even though in the absence of secondary metabolites, or I can use the statement like this, without secondary metabolites also plant will grow, plant will survive, plant will develop. Whether the secondary metabolites are present or absent in the plant body, it doesn't matter. Plant will grow very well, plant will develop very well. Then why we require the secondary metabolites in the plant body? Of course, which is acting as a defense substances whenever plant is attacked by the herbivores, whenever plant attacked by the pathogens. Please kindly do not forget the point at all. Okay, now listen to me very carefully, friends. Secondary metabolites, they are the chemicals produced by the plants which have no recognized role in the primary plant functions like growth, photosynthesis, reproduction. What do you mean by that? Without secondary metabolites also growth occur. Without secondary metabolites also photosynthesis occur. Without secondary metabolites also reproduction occur. There is no doubt about that particular thing. Then why they required, friends? They required extremely for the defense mechanism. And I am telling to all of you, this is a very rigid concept and PPT will be sufficient 100%. The question won't go beyond this level. Hence, I am requesting every one of you try to understand every single point that I will explain. Okay. So, you know, before all the scientists thought that the secondary metabolites are really functionless end products. What the scientists believed that they are functionless end products of the metabolism. But later they understood that, good morning everyone. Later they understood that secondary metabolites are very important in the plant body, which plays a key role in the defense mechanism also. At the same time, they can also play a important ecological functions also in the plants. And friends, even certain secondary metabolites can act as medicines also. I will explain one by one elaboratively, friends. Okay, I am requesting every student to remember this particular point till the end of the secondary metabolites. Every secondary metabolites present in the plant body protect the plant. Come on, again is the herbivore and again is the pathogen. Never ever forget this particular point. And some of the secondary metabolites, we're gonna read that. Best example, anthocyanins, which are colored pigments. They serve as attractants for pollinator or seed dispersing animals. We commonly know that. And friends, even certain secondary metabolites which are present in the plant body, they help the plant to deal with abiotic stress. To deal with what stress? To deal with the abiotic stress like a UV radiation. Please kindly do not forget this particular point at all, friends. It's a very important. You have to know this. Okay. From this particular slide, everyone pay utmost attention. Okay. My goal is you have to listen my lesson very clearly and you have to solve at least out of 10 PYQs, at least you have to solve 7 to 8 PYQs without reading anything, by just listening the class. So I am requesting all of you pay utmost attention. Okay. All the secondary metabolites present in the plant body broadly categorized into three major types. One we call terpenes, another one we called phenols, another one we called, friends, nitrogen containing compounds. These are all the three major types of this particular secondary metabolites present in the plant body. And every one of you listen to me very carefully, friends. Among these three, which is the largest class of the secondary metabolites? Keep it in your mind, terpenes. Terpenes are the very largest class. Okay. And friends, let me write one line. How the secondary metabolites can be synthesized. I am writing a line, listen to me carefully. Secondary metabolites are derived from the end products of the primary metabolism. Please kindly do not forget this particular statement. Please don't forget. What, friends? Secondary metabolites are derived from the end products of primary metabolism. Now you can ask me, sir, what are primary metabolism? You can take glycolysis. You can take PPP pathway. You can take a Krebs cycle. What are these? These are all our primary metabolic pathways. Now, in this primary metabolic pathways, we will get certain end products. Say an example. What is the end product of glycolysis? Pyruvate. Pyruvate give rise to what? Acetyl-CoA. So, these are all basically giving rise to what, friends? Secondary metabolites. Let me explain you briefly. You know, remembering this chart is very important for the part B as well as the in case of a statements present in the part C. Never ever neglect this particular chart. Don't miss any information in the secondary metabolites. The reason, concept is small, information is more. So more information you remember, more chances are there that we can answer the question very correctly. Listen to me carefully. Primary carbon metabolism. Everyone listen to me. how the phenol, terpenes and nitrogen containing compounds are getting derived. Every one of you look into the picture very carefully. Pyruvate and acetyl-CoA. Friends, pyruvate and acetyl-CoA and 3-phosphoglycerate. These are all basically coming from what? Glycolysis only, right? Everyone listen my statements carefully, friends. Pyruvate and 3-phosphoglycerate undergo a pathway called as MEP pathway, and they are giving rise to the terpenes. At the same time, acetyl-CoA undergo a pathway called, friends, mevalonoic acid pathway, and what it is going to give rise to, my friends? It is going to give rise to the terpenes. Please kindly do not forget this particular statement. Once again, I am reminding you, acetyl-CoA undergo the mevalonoic acid pathway, give rise to the terpenes. Pyruvate and 3-phosphoglycerate will undergo the MEP pathway and going to give rise to the terpenes. So now you look into the phenols. Erythrose 4-phosphate. Friends, erythrose 4-phosphate basically coming from which pathway? Pentose phosphate pathway. Correct na? Of course, yes. Pentose phosphate pathway will undergo, everyone listen to me, pentose phosphate pathway give rise to the erythrose 4-phosphate. Erythrose 4-phosphate and phosphoenol pyruvate. We all people know that. Phosphoenol pyruvate coming from where? Shikimic acid pathway. Simple point. So phosphoenol pyruvate giving rise to the undergo the shikimic acid pathway. Erythrose 4-phosphate giving undergo the shikimic acid pathway, giving rise to phenols. Anyway, same thing I will explain you elaboratively in the upcoming slide. Everything I will explain elaboratively. Good morning, Saima. Now listen to me very, very carefully, all of you. What I would like to say in this particular slide, listen my statements carefully. The secondary metabolites are derived from the end products of the primary metabolism. Once again, listen to me. The secondary metabolites are derived from the end products of the primary carbon metabolism. Never forget the statement. Now we are going to discuss one by one. So let's start with the first one. What's the first one? Terpenes. Terpenes are the largest class of the secondary metabolites. From the terpenes, I can say more than 6 to 7 times the question was appeared in the part C. Even in this particular 2022 February paper also we got the question from the terpenes. So it's nothing like that. Other remaining secondary metabolites are not important. They are also equally important. But what I am saying is they used to ask the questions mostly from the terpenes. ORR, very cleverly what they will do, friends, they will include all the secondary metabolites and they can raise the statement. Good morning, Vimalesh. Continue. So listen, in the tomorrow class I will ask everything, friends. I am requesting all of you listen to me very carefully. Terpenes are the largest class of secondary metabolites. Okay. And friends, how does this particular terpenes are basically derived from? All of you listen to me. The terpenes are basically derived from the isoprene unit. Please kindly don't forget that. Isoprene unit means how many? 5 carbon containing compound. So all the students listen my words. 5 carbon containing compound called as isoprene. So isoprene actually acting like what? Monomer. This isoprene which is acting as a monomer, and it is basically giving rise to the terpenes. And every one of you listen my statement. Friends, if only one isoprene unit is present, listen to me carefully. If only one isoprene unit is present, terpene cannot be biosynthesized. All of you listen to me. If we want to synthesize the terpene, at least two isoprene units should be present. How many? At least 2 isoprene units should be present. So hemiterpene only 5 carbon, 1 isoprene unit, we can't form the terpene. So now every student listen to me. Whenever there are 2 isoprene units are there, then I can form a terpene. What is I called this particular terpene? Monoterpene, which is the 10 carbon containing compound. Please kindly do not forget the statement, friends. Next one, 3 isoprene units are present. How many carbon containing compound? 3 isoprene units means 15 carbon containing compound we call sesquiterpene. Friends, the same questions asked in the exam also, and we will get in the future also. 15 carbon means how many isoprene unit? 3 isoprene unit. The 15 carbon containing compound we call sesquiterpene. Now I have added 4 isoprene unit. When I added 4 isoprene unit, I can call 20 carbons are there. I can call diterpene. You have to remember, friends, this concept is a very rigid concept but very important concept. Now 5 isoprene units, 25 carbon containing compound, very important, we can call the sesterterpene. When 6 isoprene units are there, friends, we can call 30 carbons and we will be calling this as the triterpene. Never ever forget this. And they did not give the 35. Everyone listen. 35 means sesquiterterpene. Sesquiterterpene, 35 carbons. So my friends, how many isoprene units are there total? Very simple, friends. 7 isoprene units are there, 35 carbon. We will be calling it as the sesquiterterpene. Please kindly do not forget the statement at all. Next one is what, friends? Finally, tetraterpene. Tetra, 40 carbons. So friends, total how many number of isoprene units will be present, friends? Total, friends, 8 isoprene units will be present. Please kindly do not forget this particular statement. So and so on. See here. So I am just recalling everything. Monoterpenes, 10 carbon, 2 isoprene units. Sesquiterpene, 3 isoprene unit, 15 carbon. Diterpene, 4 isoprene unit, 20 carbon. Sesterterpene, 5 isoprene unit, 25 carbon. Triterpene, 6 isoprene unit, 30 carbon. Sesquarter, I have written here, 35 carbon and 7 isoprene units. Tetraterpene, 8 isoprene unit, 40 carbon, and so on. You take an example, natural terpene, rubber. Rubber is made up of how many isoprene units, friends? Rubber is made up of more than 100 isoprene units, which means more than 500 carbons are present. Don't forget that. Okay, now every one of you has to remember what are the pathways involved here. This is also most commonly asked statement in the given 4-marker question. Listen, if you really understand, it's more interesting. Okay, focus. Terpene biosynthesis can be involved or can be mediated by 2 pathways. I already told to all of you. What are the 2 pathways? One we called mevalonic acid pathway, one we called MEP pathway. Kindly do not forget the point at all. What is the, listen my statements carefully. Every question will come from either statement or matching. There's no other way. So focus. Mevalonic and methylerythritol phosphate or MEP pathway. These 2 pathways give rise to the terpene. The point is very clear. How? Every one of you listen to me. Mevalonic acid and MEP pathway, they can give rise to the terpene by giving the precursor first. What is the precursor? I told you, right? IPP, isopentenyl pyrophosphate. Simple point. Once these 2 pathways give rise to the IPP, then undoubtedly, my friends, IPP is going to give rise to the terpene. Now the question is very clear. How does mevalonic acid pathway give rise to the IPP? With the help of acetyl-CoA. So acetyl-CoA give rise to the IPP. IPP finally give rise to the terpene. And how does the MEP pathway give rise to the IPP? With the help of G3P and pyruvate. So G3P and pyruvate of the MEP pathway giving rise to the IPP, and IPP, friends, giving rise to the terpenes. So all the students has to remember IPP can act as a major precursor in the biosynthesis of the terpene. Do not forget the statement. So friends, I will be explaining you now what is MEP pathway, how does it occur, and what is mevalonic acid pathway, how does it occur. You people no need to remember the structure at all. We are not going to get in our exams at all. What you have to remember is the steps. Whichever I am explaining to you, remember it very clearly. First, I am talking about the mevalonic acid pathway. I have already told you, whatever the pathway it may be, doesn't matter. What is the ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is, friends, synthesizing the IPP. That's a very simple point it is. Now all of you listen to me, friends. 3 molecule of acetyl CoA. Friends, everyone tell me, one acetyl CoA molecule is how many carbon containing compound? 2 carbon containing compound. So 3 molecule of acetyl CoA. So total how many carbon? 6 carbon. 3 molecules of acetyl CoA joined together in a stepwise manner, and what they are going to give rise to? They are going to give rise to the mevalonic acid. Very simple point it is. Every one of you listen to me. Now you know, friends, once the mevalonic acid is formed, immediately mevalonic acid undergo certain processes spontaneously. Pyrophosphorylation, mevalonic acid undergo decarboxylation, mevalonic acid undergo the dehydration to form what, friends? To form IPP, isopentenyl pyrophosphate. Very simple point. Now finally, friends, there is a production of the IPP. I will re-explain, don't worry at all. In case of mevalonic acid pathway, ultimate goal is the IPP only. IPP is how many carbon? 5 carbon, which is acting as a precursor for the terpene biosynthesis. So 3 molecule of acetyl CoA, which is total 6 carbon, they are giving rise to the mevalonic acid, which is an intermediate or a stable product. Now this mevalonic acid, friends, later it is giving rise to what, friends? IPP. So IPP is how many carbon containing compound, friends? 5 carbon containing compound. Please kindly do not forget the statement. So now next pathway is what, friends? MEP pathway. What did I tell you? Of course, undoubtedly MEP pathway also has to give rise to the IPP only. No doubt about it, because IPP is the one which is going to give rise to the terpene. Now all the students listen to me. So what is happening in case of a MEP pathway? Pyruvate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate are involved. Pyruvate is the 3 carbon containing compound. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is also a 3 carbon containing compound. Now these two combined together and they are going to give rise to the 6 carbon containing compound. What was that, friends? That is only we can call the MEP. So methyl erythritol phosphate. Now friends, what does the methyl erythritol phosphate is going to give rise to, friends? Methyl erythritol phosphate giving rise to DMAPP. What it is giving rise to? It is giving rise to DMAPP. Never ever forget this. So friends, what is the difference between the IPP and DMAPP? Friends, the both are same. I can say both are isomeric in nature. Don't forget that. IPP is how many carbon, friends? IPP is 5 carbon. DMAPP is how many carbon, friends? Of course, it is also a 5 carbon containing compound. IPP is the 5 carbon. DMAPP is also a 5 carbon containing compound. Please kindly don't forget that. Now let me explain you. This is the slide you people has to remember, and which was asked in the 2017 also and 2018 also as a direct part C question. Now all of you listen to me carefully. Every one of you. In the mevalonic acid pathway, I produced IPP. IPP is how many carbon? 5 carbon. And in the MEP pathway, what I have produced? I have produced DMAPP. DMAPP is how many carbon containing compound? Undoubtedly, friends, 5 carbon containing compound only. Which one? DMAPP also. Now I have told to all of you very clearly that we can't synthesize the active terpene if only one isoprene unit is present. But now you see here, we have 2 isoprene units are ready. Now what we are giving rise to? Now the 2 isoprene units are combined together and they are going to give rise to the monoterpene. This is what you have to remember. So monoterpene, how many carbon containing compound it is? Monoterpene we can call GPP. How many carbon? 10 carbon containing compound. So the best example of the monoterpene is GPP. You have to remember this. Ziranyl diphosphate. To this monoterpene, I have added another isoprene unit, which is a 5 carbon containing compound. Now this monoterpene can be converted into sesquiterpene. What do you call it, this particular sesquiterpene? We call it as the FPP. FPP is how many carbon containing compound, friends? FPP is the 15 carbon containing compound. Please kindly do not forget the statement. Now to this FPP, I have added another isoprene unit. Then what I am going to get? I am going to get the diterpene. Diterpene is how many carbon containing compound, friends? 20 carbon containing compound. That is only we call, friends, GGPP. Geranyl diphosphate is the 20 carbon. Pharencyl diphosphate is the 15 carbon. And friends, GPP is the 10 carbon. I don't know, friends, what you do. It's a very important. You people has to remember this without fail. It's very important. GPP 10 carbon, FPP 15 carbon, GGPP 20 carbon, and so on. There is a biosynthesis of the polyterpenes. Don't forget that, friends. Okay, so far what we studied, just listen to me carefully. We studied what are terpenes. We understand how many types of terpenes also there. Mono, sesqui, di, sester, triterpene, tetraterpene. We understand all. Later we studied what are the two major pathways that are involved in the biosynthesis of terpene, mevalonoic acid and MEP pathway. And we also understand how we are synthesizing the terpenes. Absolutely fine. Last and final, what we have to study. This is more important among all. We read very clearly. Listen, never ever forget this particular statement. Every secondary metabolite present in the plant body eaten up by the herbivores or the pathogenic organism. Now listen, some of the terpenes, listen to me carefully, some of the terpenes present in the plant body, they act against the pathogens, pathogenic organism. Some of the secondary metabolites or some of the terpenes present in the plant body act against herbivores. Never ever forget the point. Some of the terpenes act against the toxins, against the insect, and some of the herbivores act against this particular herbivore. Never ever forget the point. Okay, now I will explain step by step. What are the examples of the terpenes which are acting against insects? It's really interesting, but you have to remember. Pyrethroids, monoterpenes, essential oils, limnoids, phytoexdizones. These are all the 5 type of terpenes which are acting extremely against the insect. There are 2 different type of terpenes are there, friends. They are acting against the herbivores. Please listen. If you listen to me correctly, then only you can solve the PYQs without reading even. Saponins. These 2 are against herbivores. Okay, let's talk about one by one. I will explain briefly and elaboratively. Pay attention. Pyrethroids. Where these pyrethroids are present? Pyrethroids are the type of monoterpene esters. What, friends? Pyrethroids are the type of monoterpene esters. They are present in the flowers and leaves of the chrysanthemum species, which are having what kind of activity? Insecticidal activity. So friends, listen, you have seen the chrysanthemum flower, right? Which is yellow color flower. Have you ever observed that insect will fall on the chrysanthemum species? Never ever. None of the insects never ever fall on the chrysanthemum species, because chrysanthemum species secrete the pyrethroids. It creates a different smell, even the taste also. So that's why no insect will attack on that. Listen, next one. It's really interesting. Focus. Monoterpenes which are present in the pines and fir, they are extremely toxic to what, friends? They are extremely toxic to the bark beetles. Please kindly don't forget that, friends. You know, right? Suppose this is the tree bark. Every student listen to me. This is the tree bark. What certain bark beetles will do? They keep on scratching the bark. They keep on scratching the bark. As a result, bark getting damaged. So from the damaged bark, what will release? from the damaged bark, monoterpenes will release. What this monoterpenes will release? This monoterpene will cause toxicity to this particular bark beetles. By that, beetles can easily die. Very simple. So friends, the point is common. Every secondary metabolite present in the plant body extremely active. Again is the herbivore, extremely active. Again is the pathogens or the insects. Friends, among all, the most important one, essential oils. Listen. Always you will get the statement related questions which are very tricky statements. So you have to understand it. Yes. Essential oil, this is the third example of the terpene which is present in many plants, also help to fight against the insect. An example, essential oils in the plants like peppermint, basil, sage. You know what is the specialty of essential oils? They are volatile. What, my friends? They are volatile. Now you only tell me, have you ever observed falling of an insect in the lemon tree? You never observed. Have you ever observed falling of an insect on the menthol plant? You never ever. What is the reason, my friends? The reason, this particular lemon and menthol which contains certain essential oils, that essential oils are having the activity of insect repellent properties, which means that none of the insect cannot fall on that particular plants. If they fall also, because of that particular smell, that insect immediately come out of that particular plant. Please kindly don't forget that. Where this particular essential oils are present, look into this electron microscopic picture. The essential oils are usually present in the glandular hair of epidermis. Friends, it seems to be little difficult to remember, but I want you to remember. Upon multiple revisions, you can remember it easily, and it's not too difficult also. Where the essential oils are present, they are present in the glandular hair of epidermis. Never ever forget. Then the fourth type of terpene, I will repeat, kindly don't worry. Fourth type of terpene we can call the limonoids. You know, friends, what is the powerful example of a limonoid? Powerful example is azadirachtin. Limonoids are what, friends? Non-volatile. See, you know, in 2017 December, they have given a question from the secondary metabolites. The first statement says that, all the secondary metabolites are maybe volatile. This is the first statement says that. Second statement says that all the secondary metabolites are may not be volatile. What is the point you have to remember here? Both the statements are absolutely true statement. Let me prove here itself. Here I have told you that limonoids are non-volatile. Absolutely true point. Now you only try to understand. What about the essential oils? Essential oils are volatile. So what's the point you have to remember? Some of the secondary metabolites may be volatile. And friends, some of the secondary metabolites may not be volatile. Please kindly don't confuse when they ask this kind of tricky statements. And friends, the best example, please listen to me. The best example of the limonoid which is present in the neem tree, which we can call it as azadirachtin. Let me tell you one very interesting fact or a point about this particular azadirachtin. Everyone has to listen to me. More than 25,000 types of, how many? More than 25,000 types of insects can be easily killed by the azadirachtin, which is a type of limonoid present on the neem tree. It's highly impossible, friends. None of the insect never survive on the neem tree. You might observe, we use it to say neem plant having antibiotic activity, antifungal activity also. Even fungus also never affect the neem tree. None of the pathogen never affect the neem tree. Why? Because, friends, neem tree contain azadirachtin, which is acting against more than 25,000 types of insects. Never forget the statement. It's very, very simple it is. Now next one, phytoecdysones. What is this? Let me tell you very interesting point about the phytoecdysones. All the students listen to me. phytoexosomes are the triterpenoid molecules which are similar in structure to the insect molting hormone. To the what? Insect molting hormone. All the students has to listen. What is insect molting hormone first of all? What is insect molting hormone first of all? Insect molting hormones are like metabolic hormones which are required for the growth and development of the insect. All the students listen to me. In our body, in a human body, we are having lot of metabolic hormones like insulin, glucagon. They are required for what? Our growth and development. Same way, inside the insect body, suppose example I am an insect, inside my body I am having certain metabolic hormone, I am having certain growth and developmental hormone. What do I call it them as? I call it them as the phytoexosomes. Kindly don't forget that. Now you know, all the students listen to me carefully. Every one of you pay utmost attention towards this. Focus. Suppose example, what happened? Everyone listen to me friends. Suppose example, this is the leaf. This is the leaf, okay? And this is the insect. What the insect does? Insect attacked the leaf. Now once the insect attacked the leaf, leaf get damaged. When the leaf get damaged, what the leaf is going to release? Leaf is going to release the phytoexosomes. Now where does this particular phytoexosomes will enter? The phytoexosomes enter into the insect body. Now you all people listen. I am insect. I have attacked a plant. Whenever I attacked a plant, I crushed the leaf. Now I try to eat that leaf. Whenever I am eating that leaf, from the leaf, phytoexosomes are released, and all the phytoexosomes are entered in my body. Now all the students listen. Phytoexosomes are similar to the structure of molting hormones. Inside my body, what hormones are there? Molting hormones. Why I require molting hormones? For my growth and development. But phytoexosomes which are entered from the leaf, they are also exactly look like a molting hormone. Now I will get confused. I am an insect. I will get confused now. What are my own molting hormones? What are the phytoexosomes coming from the plant body? So it get confused. Now insect will start taking the phytoexosomes only. Now do you think phytoexosomes increase the process of molting? I mean to say, phytoexosomes increase the process of development or growth in the plant body? Never. Sorry, in the insect body? Never. Phytoexosomes disrupt the molting. Phytoexosomes disrupt the entire developmental processes in the insect body, which result in the death of insect. Very simple point it is. I'll summarize in 1 second. I am an insect. Inside my body, I am having a developmental hormones named as molting hormones. But when I attack a particular leaf, from the leaf phytoexosomes entered in my body. Now I will get a confusion between the which are molting hormones, which are phytoexosomes. As a result, accidentally I will consume the phytoexosomes. Instead of helpful in my growth and development, phytoexosomes will disrupt the molting. Phytoexosomes disrupt the developmental processes. Very, very simple point it is. So friends, these 5 are the terpenes which are acting against the insect. What are those? First one, pyrethroids. Second one is the monoterpene. Third one is the essential oil. Fourth one is the lignoid. Fifth one is the phytoexosome. I don't know what you do. It is very important. I want you to remember the entire concept. Secondary metabolite concept is all about remembering maximum amount of the information. Always you have to remember the information. Okay. Now let's look into the type of terpenes which are acting against the herbivore. I told you, friends, the terpenes are not only acting against the insects, but the terpenes are also acting against the herbivores also. Okay, now let's try to understand that. What are the examples of the terpenes which are acting against the herbivores, and what are the examples? One we can call the cardinolites. Another one, friends, we will be calling it as the saponins. Please kindly don't forget these two, friends. Listen to me. What you have to remember, cardinolites, they are the triterpene glycoside. which are very bitter and extremely toxic to the higher animals. I hope friends you have observed many times in the nature, especially goat or cow, especially goat. Whenever goat before eating something, it always smell it. It always smell it. After smell only it starts eating. You know why it will smell? Because the secondary metabolites present in the plant body, they will create a bitter taste, as well as it will create a different kind of a odor also. So once the goat or cow feels different kind of a odor, they never ever touch that particular plant in the next time. Listen, cardenolites are the triterpene glycoside that are very bitter. Okay, some goat, what they will do, even though they feel bitter taste, they will try to eat it. Friends, when they eat, it will become extremely toxic to the higher animals. All the students listen to me carefully. And we people, now this is also another interesting point. If we people humans, if we consume a plant, which contain very high concentration of the cardenolites, then what happens? It will immediately act on our heart muscle, especially on the cardiac muscle, by influencing the sodium potassium activated ATPase pump. Now friends, if the sodium and potassium ions are not there, you know right that a cardiac impulse never ever occur, so which leads to the cardiac arrest also. But kindly don't worry, this particular cardenolites type of terpenes, these kind of plants are not present in the general areas. They are mostly present in the forest climates, I mean to say forest ecosystems only. When we eat a plant which contain the cardenolide, which is a type of terpene, always remember at higher concentration only they can show the influence on the heart muscle, but these cardenolides containing terpenes and that particular plants not present on the normal ecosystem, majorly present on the forest ecosystem. Don't worry. Next one, but you have to remember very high concentration, very high, and based on the regular consumption only they will cause the effect, but we never consume that regularly. Next, last and final type of the terpenes which is acting again is the herbivore. That is what friends? Saponins. Saponins are the steroid and triterpene glycoside that interfere with the sterol uptake from the digestive system and also disrupt the cell membrane once absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay, very simple point it is. Listen to me carefully. Once again I am recalling, saponins, suppose example we only human beings or any herbivore like a cow or goat, whenever a herbivore like a cow and goat, whenever they eat the saponin containing plants, you know what happen? The entire cell membrane functions get ruptured, stopped, and friends, digestive system functions also stopped completely. Never forget that. Saponins are steroid and triterpene glycosides. Whenever it is eaten by the herbivores, they basically block the cell membrane functions of the herbivore and digestive system functions of the herbivore. By that, the herbivore never ever eat that particular plant next time. Friends, this is about the first class of the secondary metabolites, terpenes. So I can tell you 99 to 100% the question won't go beyond the level whatever we studied. But the only point here friends, it's a kind of a rigid concept. You people has to remember this with great patience. This is about the terpenes, right? You have to remember all the terpenes, all the pathways, and which terpenes are acting against the herbivore, which terpenes are acting against the insect. Next class after the terpenes, the second largest class of the secondary metabolites after the terpene is friends phenols. Every secondary metabolite is important. Phenols are also the secondary metabolites containing a phenol group. Very simple, benzene ring with the OH group. Now listen to me every one of you, the major functions of the phenol. Phenol plays a key role in the plant defense. Most importantly, phenol also provide, what the phenol basically provide? It will provide mechanical support to the plant. I will tell you, you know right friends, you might observe many times. certain plant stems are very thin. Listen to me carefully. Certain plant stems are very thin, but herbivore like a goat and cow, they will try to break the entire stem by seeing that the stems are very thin, but they couldn't break. Why? The reason, even though stems are very thin, they are mechanically very stronger. Why, friends? Because of the presence of the phenol only. Don't forget that. So phenol, being a secondary metabolite involved in the plant defense, provide mechanical support to the plant, and friends, it will also provide, or it will also attract the pollinators. Never forget this point. And friends, it will also protect the plant from which damage? It will protect the plant from the UV damage. Never ever forget. How phenols are going to protect the plant from the UV damage, we are going to read in the upcoming slide. Now the most important point, reduce the growth of nearby plants. What is this, friends? All the students listen to me. Suppose this is one particular area. This is one particular area. In this particular area, there are two plants are there. Suppose in this particular area, water, minerals, nutrients, all are very limited, very low in amount. So two plants cannot survive at all. You know, that time what is going to happen? One plant starts releasing the phenols into the soil. Listen to me. One plant starts releasing the phenols into the soil. Now that particular phenols, through the soil, they reach the adjacent plant. You know what the phenol will do? This will inhibit the growth and development of the adjacent plant. As a result, this plant can survive easily for the longer time. Very simple point. So what you have to remember? It is basically reducing the growth of nearby plant. This particular process only, friends, we will be generally calling it as the allelopathy. What do you call it as? Allelopathy. Allelopathy is a process of inhibiting the growth and development of the adjacent plant. Simple point. Now, once again, friends, please try to remember one secondary metabolite with the another secondary metabolite. You people can easily remember for the longer time. While reading the terpenes, we read very clearly, right? Terpenes can be biosynthesized by the two pathways. I hope every student remember. One we read mevalonoic acid pathway, another one we studied MEP pathway. That's fine. Now listen, what are the two type of phenols? In the 2018 December or June exam, I feel, we got a direct question in the part B. Direct question. Which of the following is the principal pathway in the biosynthesis of phenolics? Direct question, friends. Obviously, what pathway it is? That is only we can call the shikimic acid pathway. Please kindly do not forget this. So, shikimic acid pathway is what, friends? Major plant pathway for the synthesis of plant phenolics. So, please kindly do not forget this. Now, you can ask me, sir, what about the malonic acid pathway? Why we are not calling malonic acid pathway is the most important pathway for the phenols? It is also very important, but not in the plants. Malonic acid pathway most predominantly used by the fungus, not the plant. In the plant body, the major pathway undoubtedly, friends, shikimic acid pathway only. Don't forget that. Now listen to me carefully. I hope you all people remember while we are studying the terpenes. That is how you have to remember. I told you that IPP is the major precursor which is going to give rise to the terpenes. That is what I told you. Here you know who is going to give rise to the phenols. The phenols can be given by the phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is what? Aromatic amino acid. Correct, na? So the aromatic amino acid phenylalanine is the one which is basically giving rise to the phenols. So shikimic acid pathway ultimate goal is what? Ultimate goal of the shikimic acid pathway is phenyl, giving the phenylalanine. Such a simple step it is. Now all the students listen to me carefully. Major pathway in the synthesis of plant phenolics. Every student listen. And friends, shikimic acid pathway, if they want to give rise to the phenylalanine, we require certain precursor. Same way, right? Mevalonic acid pathway also, MVP pathway also, they also use certain precursors. Same way, shikimic acid pathway also going to use the precursors. What are those? Erythrose 4-phosphate. We all people know, right, friends? Erythrose phosphate coming from where? PPP pathway, pentose phosphate pathway. And phosphoenol pyruvic acid or phosphoenol pyruvate come from the glycolysis. Now these two precursors, listen to me, these two precursors undergo the shikimic acid pathway. Shikimic acid pathway give rise to the phenylalanine. Later phenylalanines are going to give rise to the different types of terpenes. And I want you people to remember one more important point, friends, that is the inhibitor. The inhibitor which is basically inhibiting this shikimic acid pathway, we can call it glyphosate. Please don't forget. Glyphosate is widely used herbicide to kill the herbs and weeds. You know, farmers very oftenly use this herbicide, right? This herbicide glyphosate can inhibit the entire shikimic acid pathway. As a result, in the plant body, shikimic acid pathway, if it is not there, plant cannot synthesize the phenols. Very simple point it is. Okay, that's all for now, friends. In the next class, once again we will start from this particular slide. I will do my best in the tomorrow morning class only. I'll try to finish. And requesting all of you, I will upload the PPT by evening 6 or 7 p.m. Please download the PPT, read every single slide. This concept is very important concept. Don't neglect this. Okay, friends, that's all for now. I'll see you in the tomorrow class. You can ask me if anyone having any doubts. Just say yes or no. Is that clear for everyone? Please let me know, friends. Is that clear for everyone? Hope it's clear for everyone. Oh, great. Okay, friends, that's all for now. I will see you in the tomorrow morning 5:30 a.m. I hope the discussion is useful to all of you.